Hello. Hi, guys. This is Drogs, Fully Painted Miniatures. Welcome back to my series of playing Aeons and 2nd edition, going through randomizers. And this is going to be the second attempt at defeating the Rageborne. This is from the War Eternal set, using the the expert difficulty mode with the increased difficulty rules. So Rageborne has 70 life. When he unleashes, he gains a Fury token. He also starts with 1 to begin the game. And anytime he gains 4 Fury tokens, he gets an extra attack from the Special Strike deck. Now, with the increased difficulty rules, under normal mode, every time he strikes, you remove 3 Fury tokens from him, bringing him, so if he has 4, bringing him down to 1. With the additional difficulty rules, it brings him from 4 down to 3. He only loses 1 for every strike. And he starts again. So, tried it last game. I did 2 damage to him on like the first attack, and I never damaged him again the rest of the game. I was behind the 8 ball the entire time, and it did not go well. My dogs also didn't behave very well on the first one, so this video should go a lot better. I tried to randomize the mages. I ended up with Gian again, which is fine. She's cool. I still haven't used her very effectively yet, so I want to use her a little bit more anyway. So she starts with a Moonstone Shard, which allows you to gain, it basically is a crystal, it generates 1 power, but it also generates a 2nd power to buy a gem. So that's a really good starting card. And then her special ability, Black Mirror, allows you to cast a prep spell without discarding it and then cast it again. So it allows you to double cast a spell, and you can use that on the same turn you prepped it. So, and it's a little less powerful than the other characters' special abilities, but hers only costs 4 charges instead of 5. I think that's a girl. She looks like a girl. Yeah, I'm calling her a girl. So she starts with Moonstone Shard, 2 crystals and 2 sparks in her hand, 3 crystals and 2 sparks in her deck. And then I also pulled Brahma, who's one of my favorites. And she also starts with 2 open breaches. She's the only mage in this set that does so. She has a 9 cost for a 3rd breach and a 10 cost for a 4th. And then I also drew Brahma, who's one of my favorites. She starts with 1 open breach, a 4 cost, a 9 cost, and a 7 cost as you go across. She's going to start with 4 crystals as well as Buried Light, which is basically a spark and a crystal combined into 1. Does 1 damage, and as you cast it, gains 1 life. And then she has 3 crystals and 2 sparks in her deck. And then her special ability restores 4 life to any player. Super powerful. Definitely a good ability, especially against Rageborne with the striking. So that way I can, if I get a choice, I'm going to choose to have damage be taken by the players instead of Gravehold. All right, so I got so as always going to use randomizers. I got absolutely shellacked in the last game. The very first card I ended up pulling was a Banesire for the Rageborne, but I also activated all my players first in that first round, so he just got to go like 3 or 4 times. And I unleash without me being able to really do anything to him. And all I had was some sparks that I just couldn't even get to. So that happens sometimes. You have 7 cards. There are 7 tier 1 basic cards, which is what the Banesire is one of. And you only put 3 in, so you actually have a better than 50% chance that he's not even in the deck. But I just happened to get him at the worst time and with a bad turn order. That ended up hurting me pretty bad. So hopefully this will go better. So for our randomized cards, we're going to start with Firstwood Amber, Clouded Sapphire. I always get Clouded Sapphire. And Burning Opal. So that's nice. 3, 5, and 6 cost. Same as last time. In terms of cost, different cards. But nothing wrong with that. Oh, no, it was 3, 4, 6 last time. I had the Burning Sapphire Firstwood Amber and Burning Opal are here. I will go through all the cards once I pull them out of the deck, so I can go through the what is it? The story fluff at the bottom as well. Mage's Talisman, Blasting Staff are my 2 relics. Not bad. They're a little pricey. So last game I had a bunch of stuff to open breaches. I haven't seen anything for that yet. But I have 2 cards that help generate charges, so that's nice. Alright. Consuming Void. I had that last game. That was exciting. Wildfire Whip. I had that last game. Oblivion Swell. And Arcane Nexus. So 2 7-cost spells. It is what it is. Can't be too picky. Alright. So Cloud Sapphire, yep. Opal. Sword Amber. Blasting Staff and Mage's Talisman. And spells. Consuming Void, Wildfire Whip. Still haven't seen Spectral Echo yet. Oblivion Spell and Arcane Nexus. Okay. Cool. So, please leave me a comment below. Let me know how you're enjoying the videos so far. Anything you'd like me to do differently, or what you like about them so I can do more of it. I am trying out this new point of view for the camera, seeing how people like it, seeing maybe if my videos do a little bit better. I thought it would be more important to kind of get my face on camera. Get comfortable with that, get comfortable speaking. And since I speak everything out, I thought it would make more sense that you'd still be able to follow along even if you can't see the game board directly. All right, so for our store, we ended up with Vrisswood Amber. It's a 3-cost gem. When you gain this, you may place it on top of your deck and it generates 2 power. Once the trees of Vrisswood towered ancient and beautiful. They polished bits of their amber is all that remains of beyond that memory. There's also Burning Opal. It's a 5-cost, generates 3 power. You may discard a card in your hand. If you do, an ally draws a card. Careful, youngling. You'll be wanting to handle that. Tongs to handle that. Clouded Sapphire. This is my mainstay. I seem to draw this every single game, which is cool because it's like my favorite card. 6 power generates, or 6 cost generates 3 power. The first time you play this, it grants, per turn, it grants a free charge to your ally. They say if you look closely, the shadow of the world that was is imprisoned within. Then we get Blasting Staff. It's a 4-cost relic. You may cast a prep spell that you prep this turn. If you do, that spell deals 2 additional damage. While appearing to be crudely fashioned, these staffs contain within them the very essence of the void. So that's cool. Lets you do a little faster damage. Also potentially let you have more spells. Mage's Talisman, 5 cost. Gain 1 charge, and ally also gains a charge. The sister mages of the old would wear their talismans as a symbol of their station, a warning to those that would challenge them. So if I can get like a couple of these with a couple Cloud Sapphires, woo, really lots of free charges, which would be cool. Try out. 5 cost, Oblivion Swell. It's my first spell. It's my cheapest spell. While prepped once per turn during your main phase, you may gain 1 power. Cast, deal 2 damage. You may discard a gem. If you do, deal additional damage equal to its cost. So combine this with Clouded Sapphire, you can do 8 damage, 9 if it's prepped on a 3 or 4, third or fourth breach. Many folk have made their fortune harvesting gems, the very breaches through which the Nameless Cane bestow the stones of strange properties. But even if it's just the first one amber, it's still 5 damage. So that's a great card, and it helps you generate power to hopefully afford these 7 cost ones. Wildfire Whip, 6 costs. While prepped during your main phase, you may spend an additional 2 power to cast any player's prepared spell, similar to her power and Blasting Staff. And it deals 4 damage. Sometimes a little motivation is needed for dire situations. How useful that's going to be, I don't know. I haven't actually really used that special ability much, but it does deal 4 damage. Solid spell. Consuming Void. I was really excited about this last time. Destroy up to 2 cards in your hand, deal 3 damage for each card destroyed this way. The far hollow hovels still smolder from the last time a mage lost his wits and will to the void. So this will let me destroy all my starting cards. I think that's awesome. And even after that, you know, I can just, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Arcane Nexus is also 7 cost spell. While prepped, once per turn during your main phase, you may return a gem you played this turn to your hand. So that would allow you to double play a gem like Cloud Sapphire Burning Opal. So that could be really cool. So that also, if you can get one of these, it kind of helps you afford it. And it deals 4 damage on a cast. The Taint of Aether clings to everything in Gravehold, and we that survive near extinction reek with it too. So, a little bit different, a little bit more expensive of a store. We'll see how that plays out. Okay. Sorry, I'll sit down. You probably can't see my face. I don't really know where the camera is in all this, but let's get started. First, Nemesis is going to go. All right. Unrelenting Ire, Unleash. Adds a Fury token. If there are 2 Nemesis turn order cards in the turn order card to start, discard pile, unleash 2 additional times. There is not. So that is it. Then Jan's going to go. She's going to prep 2 sparks. And she's going to generate 3 power, 4 towards a gem, which doesn't help her. So Vristwood Amber it is. For 3. When you gain this, you may place it on top of your deck. I will do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So her next turn is going to be a Vristwood Amber, 3 crystals, and a spark. Brahma's going to go first. She's going to prep Buried Light, and she has 4 crystals. Ooh, not much available for 4. I'll buy the Blasting Staff. It's really my only option. Or a Vristwood Amber and waste 1. And her next turn, 2 sparks and 3 crystals. Nemesis. Woven Sky. To discard 3 cards in your hand. Power 2, unleash. Any player suffers 4 damage. It's not that bad. Especially since she can heal. But Brahma's going to go next. Going to cast Buried Light. Deal 1 damage to Rageborne, bringing him to 69. That also generates 1 power. giving her a total of 4. So she's going to use all 4. The 1 from the buried light and then 3 from the crystals. She's going to open her second breach. And prep the 2 sparks. And on her next turn, she's going to have 4 crystals and a blasting staff. And Jan goes next. She's going to cast 2 sparks for 2 damage, bringing Rageborne down to 67. So this has already beaten my previous game. I only got him down to 69 the entire game. So, doing good. Doing better. Gonna prep a spark. I have Firstwood Amber and 3 crystals for 5 power. I will buy Oblivion Swell. Our next turn is going to be Moonstone Shard, 2 crystals, and 2 sparks. So as far as first round goes, so much better. I think I took 11 damage the first round last time. Thing just unleashed and unleashed and unleashed on me. So this is significant improvement. I think that was his bad luck last time. It seems to me that when you play Aeon's End, there's a sweet spot. I haven't quite figured out how to see it just yet, but you're either ahead of it and you have the momentum, or you're behind it and you're just fighting uphill the whole way. And it's really, really, really hard once you're behind it to get ahead of it. But if you start ahead of it, it's really easy to stay there. So games tend to be quite easy and fun, or really difficult and frustrating. I haven't had a lot of games where I've had a few that were like close or kind of teetering on the edge, but that doesn't seem to be the norm. I don't know. I haven't played that many games yet, 10? So we'll see how everything shakes out. All right, first is going to go Brahma. She's going to cast Spark twice, dealing an additional 2 damage to Rageborne, bringing him down to 65. She then has 4 crystals and a blasting staff. She can't use the blasting staff. She's not prepped because she isn't prepping a spell this turn. So I will use the 4 power. Ooh. To buy another blasting staff? I don't want to do that. I'll buy Vristwood Amber. Waste of power. It's too bad. So she only gets to draw 4, which is what she has. 3 crystals and buried light. And she gets to go again. So she's going to prep buried light, then use the blasting staff. Blasting staff on it to cast it immediately for 3 damage, bringing Rageborne down to 62. See how much easier this is going? That also generates a power. So I have up to 4 power, which again doesn't really let me do anything I want. So I'm just going to discard these 3 and cancel out Woven Sky before he gets a chance to activate and just protect myself. And then Jan's going to go next. Let me draw bronze cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 crystals, Vristwood Amber, and 2 sparks. So Jan's going to cast Spark, deal 1 damage, bring Rageborne down to 61. She's going to prep 2 sparks. And then she has 2 crystals and a Moonstone Shard, which is 3 or 4 for a gem. So she's going to buy Vristwood Amber. Put it on top of her deck. 5. So next turn, she's going to have 2 Verswood Ambers, an Oblivion Swell, Spark, and a Crystal. So I'm liking where her deck's going, not liking Brahma's so much right now. Nemesis, nothing on the board. Banesire, of course. But at least, you know, got him on the board. There's a couple sparks. We'll see how that goes. And that's it for that turn. Nemesis goes again. So the Banesire will unleash, bringing Rageborne up to 3 Fury tokens, and then draws a card. Unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage. We're going to have Brahma take that, bring her to 7, and draws a card. So she draws a card. Did I have him unleash again? I don't think I did. Gains another Fury token, which means it is up to 4. So he's going to draw a strike card. Gravehold suffers 3 damage, bringing me to 27. On Gravehold's life, any player suffers 1 damage. Brahma's going to take that too. The fire spread from the old barracks to the south wall in a moment, the ancient stone hissing and turning black as the beast strode through the city. So all in all, that could have been a lot worse. Gravehold took 3 damage, Brahma took 4, which he can heal. I mean, granted, not yet. It's going to be a little while. But not worried about player damage. That could have gone way worse. Alright, and Jan's going to go next. 2 sparks, deal 2 damage to the Banesire. Bring him down to 4 life. She's then going to prep Oblivion Swell and Spark. And with the 2 Verswood Ambers and the Crystal, that is worth 5 power. So I can grab another Oblivion Swell. No, I'll Burning Opal. Next turn, 4 crystals and a spark. So that was the second round. Yeah, second round. Not terrible. Took some damage. Gravehold took some damage. I'm okay. I don't have any way to heal Gravehold this time, so I do want to keep Gravehold damage to a minimum. It's going to be hard with those strikes. So, let's see what happens. Nemesis goes first, so Banesire unleashes, brings him up to 4 Fury tokens. Cleave, Rageborne strikes. The player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. So Brahma suffers 2 damage, bringing her to 4 life. But because of that, that automatically removes a Fury token. Alright. Brahma's going to go next. She's going to prep 2 sparks. And she generates 5 power to buy an Oblivion Swell. She's going to have 3 crystals, Blasting Staff, and Buried Light on her next turn. And Jan goes next. Spark is going to do 1 damage. And that brings that to 3 life. So the Oblivion Swell bonus damage does not work with crystals. So I'm not going to cast that. I will prep a spark. So that's going to allow me to generate 5 power, 4 from the crystals and 1 from the Oblivion Swell, which I will use to buy another Oblivion Swell. Right? No, I'll buy Burning Opal. Extra draw cards is really good. Nemesis. Banesire unleashes, bringing him to 4 Fury tokens. And then we bring out the Provoker. 5 cost, Gravehold suffers damage equal to the number of Fury tokens held by the Rageborne. Rageborne has 4, so he strikes. Raise, Gravehold suffers 3 damage, bringing it to 24. Any player suffers 1. Jan's going to take that, bringing her to 9. The fire spread from the old barracks to the south wall in a moment, the ancient stone hissing. Oh yeah, I already read that. I already got that one. That's fine. It's one of the few things you actually shuffle is a strike deck. This is the turn order deck. Okay. Okay, Jan is going to go and she's going to cast Spark on the Banesire, doing 1 damage. And the Oblivion Swell, while discarding a Vrisswood Amber to deal 5 damage to the Provoker, killing him. And she's going to prep 2 Sparks. And then she still gains 4 power, 5 towards a gem. So she's going to buy Burning Opal. And then she may... Oh yeah, that's it. Pretty good. Pretty sweet. Next turn, she's going to have Spark, 2 crystals, Vrisswood Amber, and a Burning Opal. And Brahma goes. Cast both Sparks and is going to kill the Banesire. I did that strike. So that gets that under control. She's going to prep Buried Light and then use Blasting Staff on it. So the Buried Light is going to do 3 damage. Bring Rageborne to 58. Not bad. That also generates a power, and then she has 3 available from crystals for total of 4. Really can't do too much with 4. I don't want to buy another Blasting Staff yet, because she just doesn't have the spells. So I'll buy Vrisswood. It's inefficient. But it is what it is. I do feel a lot better about Jan's deck right now. So for her, Brahma's next turn, she's going to have 2 Vrisswoods, 2 crystals, and Oblivion Swell. So that's a good hint. Alright, so that is the end of the Tier 1 rounds. It's the end of round 3. So this next round, Rageborne should be using Tier 2 cards. Up in the difficulty a little bit. I feel pretty good overall. I was able to do 12 damage over those first 3 rounds, which is awesome, and kill 2 minions. So that's great. I don't have a great economy going yet. I would love to get each of them a Mage's Talisman and at least 1 Clouded Sapphire. That would be nice. And I really want to get some more spells. They each have, I think, 1 Oblivion Swell, and that's it. We'll see how it goes. So far, so good. I'm going to prep Oblivion Swell. So that's going to give me an additional power this turn during my main phase. So I also can generate, I'm also going to generate 4, 5, 6. So that actually gives me 7 power. I will buy Arcane Nexus. While I can. So that's awesome. That was a great turn. Next turn is going to have Blasting Staff, 2 Sparks, and 2 Crystals. Nemesis is going to go first. Nothing on the board. Lay Waste, unleash twice. Gains 2 Fury tokens. Any player suffers 2 damage. Jan's going to take that. Bring her down to 7. So, because of the 2 Fury tokens, he's going to strike. The player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. It's Brahma. Bring her down to 2. Removes 1 Fury token. The player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. That exhausts Brahma. What the hell, man? Not my luck. I even thought it right as I was shuffling. I was like, I'm bound to get this twice. I'm going to destroy the second breach. So that can never be opened. Again. What else happens? She loses all of her charges. He unleashes twice. So gains 2 more Fury charges. I think that's it. She loses any charge tokens. Yeah. Okay. She's going to strike again. The players collectively discard the 2 most expensive prep spells. Frenzy. Player with the most open breaches suffers 3 damage. So that's going to bring Jan down to 4. Get my butt kicked. Man, that just did not go well. Especially, I had nothing on the board for the Nemesis. That's crazy. Jan's going to go, cast Spark, do 1 damage, bringing Rageborne to 57. She's going to prep a Spark. She can generate 5, 6, 7 power. Consuming Void. Next turn, 3 crystals, Spark, and a Bristwood. Brahma goes next. She's going to prep a Spark, use Blasting Staff to cast the Spark to do 3 damage. Bringing Rageborne down to 54. She's then going to prep another Spark, and then she's going to use 2 crystals to buy a charge. Her next turn is going to be 3 crystals, Buried Light, and Arcane Nexus. Nemesis next, nothing on the board. Unleash twice, and Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Or place the most recently discarded minion in the Nemesis discard pile back in play. That's going to be the Rageborne, or the Banesire. I'm going to bring him back. I just can't afford to take those strikes. And Jan's next. She's going to cast Spark, doing 1 damage to the Banesire. She's going to prep a Spark. And she generates 5 power. She's going to use to buy a Mage's Talisman. Her next turn, 2 Burning Opals, Moonstone Shard, Oblivion Swell, and a Spark. So I like Oblivion Swell. The problem is it's my cheapest spell. And I don't have a lot of Burning Opals or Cloud. I don't have any Cloud Sapphires for either player. So it loses some of its oomph. It's probably best right now to just leave it as like an extra crystal. Alright, Nemesis goes First, Banesar is going to unleash, bring him to Rageborne to 4 Fury tokens. And then we get a creature, Cauterizer. Has 3 life, all attacks do 1 damage to this creature. Persistent, any player suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. Okay? 2 is going to go first. We're going to cast Spark on the Cauterizer, doing 1 damage. You're then going to prep... Prep Arcane Nexus. I can use that to generate an extra power. So I'll generate 3 power, get 1 back with the Arcane Nexus. That gives me 4 power. Which I'll use to buy 2 charges. And I can't use Buried Light. Unless I want to focus. So I'll do that. Yeah, okay. Instead of the charges, I will focus. 4th Breach, prep Buried Light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do need to get charges for her though, because unless I heal Gian, if she drops to 0, I die. Next turn, Oblivion Swell, 2 Vrisswoods, and a Crystal. Nemesis goes first. Any player suffers damage with this current life, so that's 2 damage. So Jan. Banesar unleashes. Puts the Rageborne back at 4. Or was I supposed to unleash last time? I think I missed one. Yeah, I think I missed one. Alright, I don't even do that yet. I draw. Blood Cry. To discard, lose 4 charges, power 2, unleash 4 times. Okay. Okay, now it's gonna strike twice. No. Player with the most open breaches suffers 3 damage. That kills Gian. I lost the game. That didn't take long. Wow, okay. I thought I was doing decent. I mean, I did take a lot of damage early. I felt limited by the store. You really need to be aware of like your price points. So like 3 and 5 for the gems, that was great. Like Vrisswood, Burning Up were good. But I didn't have anything I could really do for 4. Right? I couldn't get a spell. I could get a Blasting Staff. I could get a Vrisswood and waste a power. And that's it. I couldn't get a spell. I couldn't effectively get gems. You know, if I had ambers or something, or jades, I could buy 2 jades. There's a bunch of spells that cost 4. There's some yeah. So I think that's the real trick, is like you would like to have something you can do at 3 power. It's nice to not have that be useless. But you want probably 2 options, 2 choices for what to do with 4 power, 5 power, 6 power. And with this spell deck, I have 1 option for 3, 1 option for 4. I have 3 options for 5. But I don't have any combo options. It's not like I have a 3 and a 2. And technically I have 3 options for 6. I can do Wildfire, Whip, Clouded Sapphire, 2 Vrisswoods. So 5 and 6, good. 4 and 5, not so great. Or, yeah. And then I have 2 options for 3 options for 7. These 2, and then a blasting stuff in the first one. So that middle range, just I felt a little limited in my choices. So if it were up to me, I would have liked to have only had 1 7-cost card, spell card. If I had a 4-cost spell, that would have gone a long way. So 3, 5, 6 gem, 4, 5 relic is fine, but if I had a 4, 5, 6, 7 spell, that would have helped me out significantly, because my low cost spell was Oblivion Swell, which is 5, but it only does 2 damage. That's it. Unless you sacrifice a gem with it, but I couldn't really afford the 5 and 6 cost gems. You know, so it still does 5 damage with the first one. Like, it's not useless or anything. It's still a really good spell. Yeah. Man, those strikes get me. And that other, what was that card? So this one allows them to leash up to 3 times. Unleash strikes. That one's not bad. Unleash twice. That's a basic card. So that one's not always in there. This one unleash twice. Yeah. All right. Well, lesson learned. We'll try it again. I've already decided as far as the randomizer goes. I'm not going to do this if it takes me, 12 tries or whatever to feed somebody. I am playing on expert mode, so I understand that you might actually need to pick certain cards to beat the bosses. That's kind of how the game's designed, right? So I'm going to try 5 times for each nemesis with randomizers, and if I don't beat them or even get close, if I get them probably under 20 life during one of those games, I'll probably keep going. But if I'm not even close after 5 attempts with randomizers, I will try a game where I handpick everything and see if that has better results. All right, well, see you next video. God bless.